The bigger the name, the bigger the game. We see Elon Musk making headlines left, right, and center, whether it's buying Twitter, soaring to new heights with SpaceX, or getting sued. Yep, in today's video, we're going to be talking about David Sacks, Elon's old pal, being subpoenaed in a case against Musk. Let's get into the why, how, and everything in between. Buckle up. First up, why was David Sacks unable to squash his subpoena? It seems like Sacks cannot evade a subpoena, and he only has himself to blame. David Sacks is a venture capitalist and a part of the so-called PayPal mafia, along with his old pal Elon Musk. The group apparently is made up entirely of the company's previous power brokers. In a decision released on Friday, the judge agreed with Twitter's attorneys, who claim that David is simply attempting to resist a subpoena issued in their case against Elon Musk because he promised to do so in a podcast. Yep, you heard that right. It was said in court that his attempt to squash the subpoena is simply because he promised his followers in a podcast that he would do just that. Gosh, if we had taken everything we've said on Twitter, we'd either be a multi-millionaire with impeccable habits or something that we don't feel comfortable discussing. In court, Kathleen St. Jude McCormick, the chancellor, proved that the movements created the very burden about which they now complain in an apparent effort to uphold Sacks' promise to his podcast listeners. The statement held on in court, and the judge ruled in their favor. The request to squash is rejected. The subpoena stands. We almost feel like we're in an episode of Suits right now, and we're not complaining. Up next, let's have a look at what the fuss is all about. As you already know, Elon bought Twitter earlier this year, but what most of you might not know is that the deal has turned sour, resulting in Musk and Twitter being tied up in a legal battle. Let's catch you up. Elon Musk is being sued by Twitter for his decision to back out of a $44 billion, that's 37 billion pounds, purchase of the business. Back in July, when it filed a lawsuit in the US state of Delaware, the company's corporate home, it accused Musk of wrecking the business and leaving, further escalating an already tense relationship into full animosity. Let's break it down for you. The 62-page court statement begins with a scathing critique of how the world's richest man has conducted himself throughout the ordeal. According to the statement, Musk entered into a legally binding arrangement in April of this year and is ending it because it no longer serves his personal interests. While the SpaceX CEO claims they misquoted the number of spam accounts, which to him is justifiable to back out, Twitter obviously disagrees and has started to bend over backwards to provide their potential buyer with the relevant intel. Now, a part of this ongoing legal battle expands into, ding ding ding, David Sacks being subpoenaed. Now, how did David react to being called into court? The company's attorneys served Sacks with a subpoena, and after identifying him as a possible investor in the transaction, Musk hopes to escape. Now, we're not in the investing game or the court game, but the assumption makes sense. The PayPal mafia group serves as proof. But David, on the other hand, claims to have no involvement in the matter, while being sent, as he calls it, the broadest subpoena ever. Elizabeth Lopato detailed earlier this week, the document request spans almost 30 pages, and as the process dictates, Sacks will need to contact a lawyer right away to stop this, which, as we now know, he was unable to do so. But that's not all. Twitter's lawyers explained what transpired next in their move to object to the request. The evening of being issued a subpoena, the witness took to Twitter to share a virtual middle finger at Twitter's lawyers. And nope, it doesn't end here either. Then David Sacks decided to share a video of a man urinating on a subpoena. Okay, that's all. We don't know about you guys, but if we're being called by Twitter, we wouldn't take to Twitter to vent about it. Bold move, Sacks, but guess you still need to go to court. Tough luck. Coming up, why does the PayPal mafia keep coming up? Elon Musk has a tendency to form cliques, especially with the so-called PayPal mafia. If you've never heard of them, we got you. The PayPal mafia is a group of powerful Silicon Valley individuals who were all previously working at PayPal. David O. Sacks, a present-day venture capitalist and former COO of PayPal. Starting to sound like a true crime episode if we're being honest. Being a successful person has its drawbacks, a statement that became clear as day when Sacks spat with Twitter over a subpoena the company issued in its case against Musk, only for those very tweets being used in court to dismiss his appeal. How does that saying go again? What goes around comes around. You know, you're in pretty rare company if you're in a group with Musk, Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, Max Levchin, and the actual co-founders of YouTube and Yelp. In fact, it appeared for a while that the PayPal mafia was one of the more glaring examples of how networking favors the ambitious, in perhaps not all the best ways. Next, what exactly are the Twitter lawyers claiming. Twitter served Sachs with a subpoena after identifying him as a possible investor in the transaction with Musk. For instance, Sachs has invested in the Boring Company, Musk's tunnel project. And that's not all. They all collaborated as executive producers on the darkly humorous Aaron Eckhart film Thank You for Smoking in 2005, which is about a disgraced tobacco lobbyist, a libertarian-friendly parable about how, if you're glib enough, you can get away with anything. The film is based on a book by Christopher Buckley. Why all of this is starting to sound like a big conspiracy theory is something we don't have an answer for. So let's stick to the facts, shall we? In actuality, Sachs's move to revoke Twitter's subpoena is a goldmine for billable hours, and Twitter's attorneys are accusing him of doing it to gain clout. Twitter subpoenaed Sachs, along with everyone else of note in Silicon Valley, as they all fulfill the criteria of being a possible investor. Let's see what the ruckus boils down to as the case progresses. Now, for some other news of interest. Up next, Elon Musk is looking to get out of his deal with Twitter, and it might just happen, thanks to recent accusations from the firm's former security chief. Billionaire Elon Musk's odds of keeping his promise to purchase Twitter just got better. According to Peter Zatko's whistleblower complaint to federal officials, Twitter is a cybersecurity dumpster fire. He criticizes the social media firm for having insufficient security procedures that expose users' private information to risk and run the risk of the company breaking a settlement deal with federal regulators. Additionally, he claims that Twitter was pushed to employ 2 government agents with access to private information by the Indian government. Musk cited Zatko's worries in further legal assertions not long after they were made public. The Tesla CEO is now claiming that Twitter is defective and that it committed fraud by concealing such serious issues. Twitter, on the other hand, calls Zatko's complaints inaccurate, inconsistent, and opportunistic. Many legal experts thought Musk had a weak legal case, given that he waived due diligence when he signed the agreement and that he, not the firm, had sought the acquisition. We're just going to have to see how all of this pans out. Now, this legal battle seems to have sparked Congress's interest. Apparently, Congress is paying attention to the whistleblower Zatko's complaints. On September 9th, Zatko is slated to be questioned by Musk's attorneys. He is scheduled to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee the following week. The top lawmakers on the committee, Democrat Dick Durbin of Illinois and Republican Chuck Grassley of Iowa, said in a statement that if Zatko's allegations are true, they could reveal extremely risky data privacy and security vulnerabilities for Twitter users worldwide. They promised to get to the bottom of such serious claims through the committee. We're just going to let the court do its job before we read too much into this. And lastly, after receiving years of user uproar, Twitter claims to be testing an edit button. For years, users have been forced to delete and republish their typo-filled or incorrectly tagged tweets rather than amend them backwards, which is unusual among social media platforms and inconvenient for many, don't we know? Even while senior executives and safety officials express their worries, Twitter users have long lobbied for the network to provide an edit button. It seems like the firm is now testing that functionality, so the pro-edit camp may soon get their wish. Yes, dear God. Twitter tweeted on Thursday that they're experimenting with the edit button, so if you see a modified tweet, it means it was changed. Although this is happening, you will be alright. Don't worry about that, guys. We won't just be fine, we'd be so very grateful. And that's a wrap. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the situation. Hit like and click that subscribe button, and we'll be back with another video.